Adam, interview, take one. Mark? Hi, my name is Adam Clark. I'm the co-founder of Toronto Sound. It's a location sound and post-sound design company within the city, and I am the co-founder, yeah. I thought as an audio recordist when I came in that I was, pardon my French, the shit. Everyone wanted me on set. I was hot commodity in industry. I was basically like, you do a film, go to Adam or go to one of his team. They know the gear. They'll be able to help you and get this done. So I went from being the head of like a sound mafia to being in industry and not knowing anything, because what I had learned in school was just the basics, and I had to take off the training wheels now and actually learn how to be on set. That started with negotiating rate cards, learning how much I'm worth, getting better gear, building a wealth of experience. And to do that, you have to start in things like independent horror films, free productions, passion projects. So all of that comes together into a very rough start where you're learning and trying to figure out where you find a place in the industry. So that was my start basically for it. I'm not gonna name names, because you never know who will see this. I worked on an independent zombie film, which was really bad. It was 18-hour days without overtime, in a haunted house, in the middle of wet fields where the ground would turn to manure and you'd step in it, and every day you were basically wading through shit. That was some bad ones. When I started in the commercial industry, I started to realize, hey, days are like 10 hours versus 18. You're working on pretty cool productions. I'm meeting celebrities or things like that. I'm working with brands, and these brands tend to call me back. If you work a really good job with a production company who represents Nike, they'll want to call you back on set. You'll get remembered by that brand, and whenever they come to Toronto, they want to have you back. So that created some really cool projects I got a chance to work on when I started moving into commercials and digital media. I worked on the WestJet Christmas Miracles. I've been doing that for 8 years in a row. I've recorded stuff for Apple Music with Drake and Zane Lowe. I've actually been to Drake and 40's recording studio at least 3 times in my career. 40 actually recognizes me now when I go in. He's like, oh, hey, how are you, man? 5 years ago, I was working in a company which was at the rise of digital media industry. We were doing hundreds of videos a year for different brands. And I was working with a guy called Aaron Geistman, who was the post-sound mixer at Biz Media at the time. Aaron basically would handle every single one of my videos that came in as an audio recorder. So if there's anything wrong, Aaron would phone me. If there's anything good, Aaron would phone me. We had this communication, and at the end of hundreds of videos, there was sort of an unspoken bond between the two of us that we were in this together. So Aaron and I basically had best friend status. We went out for drinks, we talked about audio, we hung out all the time. It was great. Biz Media started downsizing, and Aaron found himself without a position at Biz Media anymore. Instead, he was moved to a contract-based position instead of being full-time. So we decided to form Toronto Sound, which was a one-stop shop from location all the way through to post, including music, sound design, licensing. And we basically sectioned off the company in half, with me handling everything on set and Aaron handling everything in post. And that's how we brought Toronto Sound together and formed it. It was basically 2 friends who one day were like, hey, I like working with you. Do you like working with me? 5 years later, and Toronto Sound is active within the industry. But it started with just 2 buddies saying, hey, let's work together. As an audio recordist, have my select tools of the trade. We operate off Sound Devices mixer recorders, primarily the 688 Sound Devices recorder, which you're working on right now. What we use for backup mixer recording is the Sound Devices 633. It's like a baby version of the recorder. Then we have expanders like our cart. I built this cart with the idea that I can fit this bag into here and then build up this cart. This slides into here, plugs in, everything boots up, and I basically evolve it into its larger form. This would be Charmander, this would be Charmeleon, and this would be Charizard. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Hopefully it turns out well and I don't look like a complete,